Tuesday of Up Front with Frank Rothstein. We're trying to figure out just how many shows I really have. And, well, I'll figure it out soon enough, I guess. I'm not sure if it's 94, 93, 91. I'll find out eventually. For all I know, it could be 20. I may just be here for a while. Sitting with me as always, who put the cat back in the hat, it is Jade Zabrick. I have music to play. We have stories to tell. Everyone from Chirp About It is leaving me here alone. I have no audience. No round of applause like I'm loved. This is so fake. They're applauding on command. If they would throw some money at me, I'd be really, yeah, the moans and the groans are starting over here. Look at this. Have a good night, gang. So we're sitting here for the first time. I am broadcasting on Facebook Live. If you go to my Up Front with Frank Facebook page, you will see me there. And the promo is not lying. If you want to see someone talking and sweating, you will be talking to me. And that is, I am drenched. And I mean, this is damn. And I know some of the heat broke down a little bit, but it's the humidity. I need to live like one of those dry climates like Nevada. You know, where it's like being inside of an oven, like 120 with no humidity. So you really want to, like, you know, they would hate me in Nevada. Me being from Brooklyn, we just take a wrench and open up a fire hydrant, which is illegal all the way through like the Midwest because they're all in droughts. We have some cool music tonight to play. You know, I always find something, a little mix of this and that. And we have stories to tell. And I'm going to do our best. Let me see. So I'm looking at when I get all these things. Jade, would you do me a favor, please, and move this camera here? That way, I don't have to keep twisting and moving. How do I look? We're gonna find out. How do I look? I'm centered. I'm good. Okay, that means maybe the mic will block how much I'm really sweating. So what is going on today? What was the story today for the oversensitive world? Where the hell did I put it? Okay, one second. I have some light stories. I have some stories that we hear about every other day in some odd and backwards manner. Walmart. Here's another reason for people to become very upset for no reason. Walmart's Impeach 45 apparel causes outcry and calls for a boycott. It seems that the customers of many of the customers of Walmart, and they're carrying a line of clothing, I guess for babies to wear, or I guess whoever wants to wear them. They didn't exactly go into how many sizes they have. They have clothing for the resistant movement against President Donald Trump, and it's less than a year and a half. Well, he's only been in about a year and a half, coming up on it. And it says the retail giant is selling Impeach 45 and Impeach Trump baby and adult apparel for opponents of the controversial 45th president of the United States. But Walmart's resistance appeal has met, for lack of a better term, resistance of its own. People are upset with this. Okay. This is how much of the actual story I'm going to read because it doesn't deserve any more. Good thing it's a short story that just broke. Everybody, you go into a lot of these stores and everyone who supports the man, they were buying their Make America Great Again hats and T-shirts and their bumper stickers and whatever else. You know, that was okay. So it's perfectly acceptable to buy something to support him, but it is not acceptable to buy something that is unsupportive. I don't like to use the word against, but unsupportive of him. Don't blame the babies. They're just wearing bibs and whatever they got to wear. You know, baby's going to wear clothes. They're going to throw up on it. So that doesn't make a difference. But I don't know why everyone's so upset. The people who are upset are probably going to be walking around saying, Make America Great Again, which is all right. That's fine if you want to do that. And then they're going to be upset if you're wearing something that says impeach him. Well, this is the over-sensitive world that we live in. Miss Jade, may I have my Jack Daniel's Snapple, please, and my water? She's withholding valuable product for me. And I'm doing this here. Thank you. So there we go. So so that's the story. It is 9:07. And the phones are open. 646-690-2976. 646-690-2976. I do not see so far if anyone on Facebook. Oh, one person's watching. My screen isn't big enough on my laptop. So, we're doing the best we can. And we are not doing live meet tonight because Jade's phone is being stubborn. And since I won't dare go into that place without her, I'm doing Facebook where people can talk to me here. And if you're looking at my Facebook page, feel free, if you're too shy to call, feel free to leave a comment or a question there, and I will answer it live as we go, or with that City World Radio Network tagged you in a post to add to this. Okay, I got that. Okay, someone's watching. I'm doing two things at once here. So what? Let's see. Here's a low-life story. Thieves emptied a bank account of America's oldest living veteran. I got this from CNN. And someone hacked into his account and stole the money. And it says the family of 112-year-old Richard Overton said they did not know how a thief got Overton's Social Security number and personal checking account numbers. But they did. That's the job of the thief. They discovered the issue Thursday when the World War II veteran's cousins made a deposit into his account. They looked at it. What the hell are these debits? Oh, well, someone got into his accounts. That's what it is. And that is pretty low. But, of course, there's always GoFundMe, and I don't know how much the man really had in his account, but whether it was $1 or $10,000 or $100,000, the general public have donated over $330,000, which you will undoubtedly put into a different checking account and hire some security firm to protect it for him. This is what happens when you go into every small place, and I don't know what a 112-year-old man does with his credit cards on a daily basis, but it doesn't take much. This is one of the better suggestions I ever heard. Most people have said something to me at some point that I can quote. My cousin Greg gave a great suggestion one time, which I didn't think of. Why don't you just buy a gift card for yourself? So let's just say you go into Starbucks and you want their $5, whatever they're calling it. Just buy yourself a gift card. Take all the money you know you're going to spend for the month and buy a gift card. Now, instead of putting the $5 on your credit card, you just go and use the gift card. So if someone hacks into it, all they get is the limited amount that you put in, and there's no personal information. Very good idea. I like that one. What else? Let's see. New York City, the Rent Guidelines Board votes to allow rent hikes on New York City rent-stabilized apartments. So currently, let's say a 2-year lease can go up 2%. Okay. Come October 1st, something for a 2-year lease would be able to go up 2.75%. This is because of the increases of expenses. I understand that. I'm not happy about it, but I understand it. But I just got my lease, and it's still a 2. I got in there a month before he did it, before it goes up. So I'm happy about that. And it is 9/11, and I feel like playing some music. That's just how I feel. I got it like that. So anyway, I was watching a movie I enjoyed. It's a Steve Martin movie from 1990, and it's My Blue Heaven. It's just a funny movie. He's hysterical in it. So, as I was saying, I plucked a song off the movie. I put it on the list. And this is just generally an instrumental. This is from 1990, from the movie My Blue Heaven. This is Merengue. That was just the merengue from the movie My Blue Heaven. That was Steve Martin's movie, 1990. It's funny. If you get a chance, turn it on. I'm sure you can find it on Netflix or some other flicks or whatever else. Well, we do have to talk a little bit of what's going on in the world. Let me to see if I have the full story in front of me so I do not make an ass of myself. Which, when I say to people, they say, well, why do you do it live and not record it? And that is because live happens. So sometimes I do trip over my own tongue. I'm good with it. So as we all know, Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy, is retiring. He is retiring instead of waiting for the end of this term or just riding out his career. He's retiring. And as I was reading more about this, it turns out that Justice Kennedy's son was a leading real estate division. It was leading a real estate division of the Deutsche Bank as it gave President Donald Trump over $1 billion in loans to finance his real estate projects when others wouldn't. And that report came from the New York Times. Justin Kennedy, a former global head of Deutsche Bank Real Estate and Capital Markets Division, was one of Trump's closest business associates. And I guess Justice Kennedy is retiring because if anything comes up with the president or his son or with the connection, he's going to have to recuse himself anyway. So rather than put himself in that position, he's retiring earlier than he would have liked. Now, this is very important. And I'm going to go back to a point I made last week. Not sure who agrees with me. Every president gets to nominate a Supreme Court justice. We know that. It's a matter of fact, with the exception of the first President Bush, who only got to nominate one, every one of them, President Reagan through now, got to nominate two, so that Donald Trump gets to nominate two Supreme Court justices. Whatever. Luck of the draw. But as I made a point last week, I'm not so concerned about every last action a president takes or every last law they write. What concerns me more about these things is who's doing it. Who is doing it? That's what I want to know. Who has the power? What personal reason are they nominating their Supreme Court justice? Now, whoever he nominates now, and the talk around the news outlets is he will nominate someone, and they're already trying to figure out a way to overturn Roe versus Wade. This is always a topic of debate in politics. I'm not going to get into the debate. It's going to be one of the big issues because this is the first time. Well, normally these issues don't happen they don't come up with Democrat presidents. It wouldn't have come up with Bill Clinton. It wouldn't come up with Barack Obama. It does. Republicans, conservatives, they normally tend to lean towards these issues. And trust me, when general elections come up and the primary season starts, which I enjoy watching, I start looking at all the outlets, all the little federal things to see what laws are being proposed, what bills are being sought out, what they're trying to push in lower level government in case presidents want favors or they want to get ahead. And I always see what goes on. I always try to check it out. It's never failed for me to find this type of an issue, women's issues, one way or another, whether it's through, bluntly the abortion issue, or through general health practices or any health coverage, what they will, what they won't, it always comes up. So my guess here is that anyone he nominates, this is liable to come up, the issue of Roe versus Wade. If you are not familiar with it, I suggest you look it up and read it. You don't have to read every last aspect of the law. There's a Wikipedia page for it. There's other text for it. You can find a simplified version, but it is important that everyone knows this particular case. And that is that. Let's see, it's 9:20. Let's get to let's see, I pulled up some news today from NBC. I like NBC. NBC News is good. They lay it out pretty good on their website. I can get the same stories as anywhere else. It fits on my printer, or if it doesn't, I just put it in. I like the NBC News website. They have a wide range of things I can talk about. You ever notice that when there's a health report always telling you that something's healthier for you or it's not healthy for you, then in 6-7 months, the story flips. Now it's not healthy for you. I mean, for years and years, coffee wasn't healthy for you. Bad for your heart, bad for your blood pressure, keeps you up at night. Just generally bad. Bad for your nerves, bad for everything. Don't give it to children. Now, coffee is good for you from NBC News. Alrighty then. Coffee is good for you. More science shows people who drank coffee, no matter how much or what kind they drank, were less likely to die over a 10-year period than non-coffee drinkers. Alrighty then. Even the heaviest coffee drinkers are less likely to die early than people who don't drink coffee. And new research finds. All right. He says it may help you live longer. Okay, I'm reading. I mean, when they keep on putting in these little sub headlines, they're pretty much repetitive. Over 10 years, the death rate's dipped. Let me see what else they got in here. What other bullshit are they going to tell us? Because last time I heard, coffee was bad for me. And I wanted to be a rebel, so I started drinking iced coffee every day. And I started drinking coffee. Then again, I stopped listening to this 20 years ago. I've said this before. When I read on CNN that McDonald's was healthier for you than Chinese food. I guess they were referring to the fried parts, or the greasy parts. But I'm sorry, I got to believe the greasiest batch of lo mein has to be healthier than McDonald's. I like McDonald's, but it's cow lips on a bun. That's what I know. Let's see. Coffee drinkers compared with non-coffee drinkers were more likely to be male, white, former smokers, and drink alcohol. Okay. Probably because they needed to wake up from the alcohol, get rid of their hangover. Okay. Let me see. The 4 or more cups a day compared with those drinking less coffee, and non-drinkers were more likely to drink instant coffee. Oh, this is crap. What is this? Over 10 years, the follow-up, more than 14,000 people died, but non-coffee drinkers were more likely to have died than coffee drinkers. So once again, they're not sure. They just know that this time coffee is better for you. Probably they want you to pay higher prices. It's 9:23. I think we're going to play a song. And only because our Jade has come out with a music video. And if I know Jade, it's on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Notes for Rent, Songs to Sing. Put a .com after everything. The Anthem for Independent Singers. Is there any other creative outlets we can put it on? That's what I'm saying. It's on Spreaker. Yes, it's on Spreaker. Not Speaker. Spreaker. Spreaker. You can find it under Skies Crescent Radio. And that's what you can find. And she has a video, what she shot in my little hometown area of Brighton Beach, on the beach itself. I could tell by looking at the water where she was. This was not tropical. I know that color. I know that water. Didn't see the rocks, but I know that water. Did you get a hot dog while you're out there? Did you go into Coney Island? Tomorrow. Coney Island pooper. With her brand new song, Lifetime. This is our very own Jade Zabrick.
like a lifetime when the space between us grows. Space between us grows. Maybe if you could see it from my side, when I'm without you, I'm not home. Without you, I'm not hands on me feel just like heaven, hold me close, don't let me go, touch me slowly, break the tension, it's alright, just lose control, baby, I just wanna show you I love you more and more each day, more and more each day, baby, I just wanna know you in each and every single way, every single way. Baby, it feels like a lifetime when the space between us grows. Maybe if you could see it from my side, when I'm without you, I'm not home. Baby, I just wanna show you I love you more and more each day. Baby, I just wanna know you in each and every single way.
That was Jade. That was our Jade Zabrick. She was singing on the beach. She was sitting there doing her thing, wearing this nice dress, and didn't see her getting the feet wet in the water. But then, like I said, I know what the water looks like. I don't do that either. But I like the song. It's out. We wish you luck with it. It's on every, and I do mean every, song outlet on the internet. She's good like that. My ideas come in form of concept. I'll just leave the island, but I'm not one. I just can't do that. Which is why I don't film. I don't record songs, because then I got to put it on the internet. So what else is going on? Wait, what would you say? So you had a hater? Yeah. You had somebody who didn't like your song and gave you criticism?
My problem is not the criticism part. My problem is just him disliking my video on my video. Like, that's mean. You can not like me, but just tell me or ignore me. Like, why do you actually have to act troll?
How did this bum express it? Where?
Oh, he wrote me a message on Facebook. Because I wrote him a message sharing my video.
Did you leave it there or did you delete it? Leave it there.
Oh no, it wasn't an actual comment. It was like a private message. He didn't
screen cap it and put it on there. And here's why.
No, I don't even want to tell people who he is. Like,
they know him?
Well, I have mutual friends with him. Yeah, but the mutual friends that I have with him are not people that I'm close with. I just have about 10 people on Facebook that I'm mutually friends with, but I'm not close with them.
Whenever I see someone doing, whether it's a musician or someone I know who's done something, and there's a negative comment, usually the fan, all right, fine. And my point always comes out to leave it, because that one negative comment is going to make the 150 great comments seem that much louder, because everyone's going to see this and then work hard to give you a bigger compliment than they probably would have. But they're going to say, and they're all going to attack and humiliate this guy. And much like the villagers in an old Frankenstein movie, they'll be there with torches and pitchforks outside of his house, storming the apartment.
Yeah, I just don't understand the need to want to like tell someone else that they're not as good or as you. But the thing is, like, I've listened to his music and he's not that great. Like, if he was great and he was telling me these things, I would have been like, oh man, maybe he's got something to say. But he doesn't, and he's just trolling, and yeah.
He's miserable.
Yeah.
He's a miserable fuck. That's all he is. Excuse me, but I can curse. That's what he is. I'm not under FCC rules here. He's a miserable fuck. And that's just what it is.
Yeah.
And I hope his air cymbals are out of tune. That's what I hope.
Yeah. I
Well.
don't know him personally. I just know him over Facebook, so.
Well,
Oh.
actually, speaking of comments, well, you know him over Facebook? We'll either send him a 24-hour notice that you're going to block his ass.
Oh, I already
And
did.
then
I
do.
just blocked him. He was about
Okay.
to say something. I'm like, yeah, I don't even want to hear it anymore. I don't know. Yeah, I already blocked him.
Oh, that really sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. But you're on the beach, and he's
Yeah.
not. That's all you got to know. It is 9:30. Feel free to call in and tell Jade how good she really is on the beach singing in a red dress. It is 646-690-2976. And we're looking to hear from somebody because I want to talk to people. Speaking of comments, negative comments, there has been a ruling. It's from San Francisco. Online, and again from NBC News, I like this site. For online review site Yelp.com cannot be ordered to remove posts against a San Francisco law firm that a judge determined were defamatory. A divided California Supreme Court ruled Monday in a closely watched case that the internet companies had warned could be used to silence online speech. Justices agreed in a 4-3 opinion, saying removal orders such as one attorney, Darn Hassel, obtained against Yelp could interfere with and undermine the viability of an online platform. All right, so basically, you don't get to silence people who have a bad review of you. It's just the way it is. You open up a restaurant and your food sucks, people can say it. But there was for a while, for a while, you may not be able to order Yelp to do it, but I do believe, I think you can either pay them to remove negatives or perhaps you could remove them. I don't like it. I mean, you're looking for reviews, take your chances. Just take your shot. That's the idea anyway. You're hoping for the best. There's no way that's the one problem with internet communication. It's rigged. It is totally rigged because when you look at social media sites, there's nothing real about it. There really isn't, because you put up a picture of yourself in the best possible way, or you're on the beach and you're showing yourself in the best possible way, and then you put up these comments, and someone at some point is going to say something you don't agree with, and then you become a hater, and that's what happens to people. They become haters, and of course you become a troll, and my live video is interrupted. Jade, what happened there?
Oh, you're good still. Maybe you just got a temporary. You're good.
I am.
Yep.
So anyway, people out there, you can't tell anyone anything bad. They don't know how to handle it. You have to agree with every last thing that people say on the internet. I go on. I mean, we're joking here that I'm not on Live Me tonight, but I've seen these people on the hosts, the broadcasters, and if you say anything they don't agree with, they block you in a minute. They don't even ask you what you're talking about. They don't even know if you. It's like bartenders' ears. Do you know what a bartender's ear is? They're behind a busy bar. They're walking all over the place. They're hearing a million people talk, and they think they understand every last bit of your conversation, but they're really hearing bits of just bits. And if they don't hear the whole thing, or they don't ask you what you're saying, I've seen people become insulted behind the bar. What's that buzzing sound?
The fan man?
No. Oh, well, either way, it's not bothering me. Yeah, we're doing a few different... We have a fan going in here. We have a lot of things going in here. The only thing that's not going in here, well, is my brain. Yeah, when you're online, it is a very rigged existence. You know, if they don't want everyone who to like every picture or you're a troll. If you go on to Live Me and you're just not talking so much, you're a lurker. If you talk too much, they don't want to hear you. If it just balance it out right. Or you see the people who want you to tell them how wonderful they are at any moment. Tell somebody, and that's just it's a big insult. It's just a lot. What is it? It's 9:35. What else is going on? So here in New York, Madison Square Garden shares soar as Dolan lays groundwork for the sale of the Knicks. Maybe he's had enough. Let's see. James Dolan, owner of the Knicks that the fans love to hate, may be laying the groundwork for a sale of the franchise. Shares in Madison Square Garden soared on the news. Well, that's because, they're a terrible team. This is the only city where the only successful team is the Yankees, while the Knicks, the Rangers, the Jets, the Giants, the Mets, of course, and a few soccer teams that play in the leagues stink. They just stink. So that's why. And of course, yesterday Dolan announced he was exploring a spin-off that would separate the Knicks and the Rangers from the rest of Madison Square Garden. Oh, I see. Okay, that's pretty good. This actually goes back a few days in the news. He wants to separate, because they're really owned by Madison Square Garden. He wants to separate them. Aha. Look at that. I don't know about that. Is that a good idea? Well, he'll collect the fortune. If Dolan does, in fact, spin off the Knicks and the Rangers, it would mark the first time that the teams haven't been owned by Madison Square Garden. The Garden has controlled the Rangers since the team was founded in 1926, while the Knicks were launched by an MSG president in 1946. Wow. Whenever the Garden, whoever took over the Garden at any given time, the teams always stayed together. But I think, Madison Square Garden's value is now at $7 billion and jumped 14% on the hint that he's trying to sell the team. Look at that. Well, because they stink. Get some people, get some athletes in there, get some people who can play ball, who will play together, who will actually make a team. I don't feel like playing a song this second. I will read something else. NBC News. Yeah, I know. I stayed with them this week. Bread to beer, fighting food waste, one drink at a time. Toast Ale is a beer that's made from surplus bread. The company was founded by environmentalist Tristram Stewart, in part to help bakeries recycle bread and would have otherwise wasted. It brings together food producers who are committed to prioritizing sustainable means of production, and it is helping to raise public awareness about food waste. And that was dated yesterday. Bread beer. Not a bad idea. Someone's going to drink it. It's in a can. Someone will drink it.
What do you mean? Isn't beer already bread? What?
No, beer is wheat, hops. This is taking the bread that, say, bakeries would throw away, restaurants would throw away.
It's already been bread?
Yeah, it's bread.
Oh.
Yeah.
Great.
I like that.
I'll drink it.
From the same NBC. Building Consciousness. How Westworld's sentient robots could become a reality. In HBO's critically acclaimed sci-fi series Westworld, this is why live happens, the robots or hosts fight to free themselves from human control as humans experiment with using these robots to upload their own consciousness. In the show, the robots have attained a measure of consciousness, the central idea of which has moved from whether consciousness can be artificially manufactured to whether we can preserve human consciousness by printing it onto artificial intelligence. Okay. In real life, we've only just begun to understand where human consciousness comes from. And this was done by Star Trek. This was done years ago by Star Trek. Commander Data it was granted sentience. This is once again sci-fi fiction coming to life. Coming to life. Because they covered this topic in a Star Trek episode years ago. Could an artificial being be considered a life form? And if that's what it will come down to. If you're going to grant sentience to a robot, then you have to think of it as a life. That is the idea behind. That's the whole concept. So that is what's on the agenda now, to see if we can turn. Then again, they also cover that in Bicentennial Man. Remember the Robin Williams movie Bicentennial Man? That's what he fought for. He even had it. Yeah, he even had it where his immortality was turned off, because as he had gained feelings, as he was reprogrammed to have feelings, he fell in love, and he was getting older. She was going to get older. He was never going to age. That was the concept of the movie. And he loses everybody, but he wanted to get old with the human he fell in love with, the woman he fell in love with. So again, he had himself reworked, and he aged, and they died together. That was Bicentennial Man. Not a bad movie either. I enjoyed it. Let us to play yet another song, because let me see. I'm looking at a. Would you like to hear an operatic voice? Yeah? Okay. Song 4. You got it. Okay. So I'm looking at this. There was a Freddie Mercury album years ago, Barcelona. And he just. We all know Freddie Mercury is one of the greatest singers who ever lived. He was a genius in music, writing, performing, and all that. And years ago, he teamed up with Montserrat Caballé, and they performed together on stage. And I took the live version of "How Can I Go On." So once again, Freddie Mercury and Montserrat Caballé, "How Can I Go On."
Naked and I bleed, but when your finger points so silently, is anybody there to believe in me, to hear my plea and take care of me? How can I go on from day to day? Who can make me strong in every way? Where can I be safe? Where can I belong? In this great big world of sadness, how can I forget those beautiful dreams that we shared? They're lost and they're nowhere to be found. How can I go
I be safe? Where can I belong? This great big world. Sadness. Where can I forget? Beautiful dreams that we share.
That to me is a great piece. They performed together quite a few times. They really did. They worked very, very well together, and with excellent material, you were never going to go wrong. That's the only thing I could think about when it comes to things like that. And I'm just going to play one more song, which is going to run a little over 5 minutes, because all these stories today can just get me sick. And I really, well, let me see. How do I put it? When you go back in time, like to the 50s, the 60s, you used to buy 45 records. When you put them on the old Victrola or whatever. A lot of times you had songs called whatever the song title was. It was part 1 and part 2. And I never liked it. I'd rather hear one long song. But that's just the way it goes. So, you know.